Welcome to tonight's program. It's an honor to partner with Christopher again, to have Vee with us, and of course to have Swayyvo. Tonight is going to be an experience in motion and sound and flow. The world's chaotic and nature is a place where we can rest, but sometimes we don't always let ourselves. So we're going to put you in an environment to encourage that, bringing in the photography and art of this current exhibit called The Long View, about the environment and sustainability and conservation, and the beautiful works by Christopher Shaw, who'll be talking about the works too. So at each of our 4 spots, we're gonna kind of give you some things to think about, some breathing, some movement, and then we'll move on to the next one with beautiful accompaniment by Swayyvo. So I'm going to get you started by having you look at this piece. Just look at this piece while I'm walking you into it. I'd like you to enter, coming over the hill towards this pathway. You're walking in, you're feeling the grass on your feet. We'll give you some sunshine and warmth that we might be missing outside. You see a woman tending her garden, a little store, and then your eyes keep looking forward at the beautiful cultivated farmland, at all the trees that are left to thrive, at the mountains, at the sky, at the vastness. Lose yourself in that vastness.
Welcome everybody. My name is Christopher Shaw. I am the photographer that shot all of these. This is our beautiful muse, Miss Vee Rhodes. Let me get on this side so y'all can see her. So with this piece here, the main thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to be as immersive as possible. In this shot, the first thing I noticed was the colors. And I'm a big component of all of my work to always showcase color. And I then noticed this, you can see real small here, this woman tending to her garden. And immediately when I saw that, I thought of my grandmother tending to her garden. She's actually here today, she's right over there. And what I wanted to do when I noticed her is, what would it be like if we could see what she saw, if we could feel what she felt, if we could even smell what she smelled. And that's what inspired this piece here. I wanted to keep a congruent pattern of the reds that you see throughout this image, the greenery that you see in the background, and also the color of the flower, highlighting the details in the flower, and just showcasing the serene and the peaceful nature of her actually smelling and interacting with the nature. So taking a step back and seeing the overall picture, but also being directly transported and focused on the details of what's going on in the photo.
So my name is Vee. I'm also, well, he introduced me as the muse, but I also am a fashion stylist and a creative director. And I created the outfit for the actual piece that we created together, curated together, as well as Swayyvo's vest that he's wearing. So if you see that on him, I used some reconstructed materials in order for me to be able to make each item that I'm wearing. So in the vein of conservationist and sustainability, everything that I'm wearing as well as Swayyvo and its best is always like what I use. I wanted to feel like I was blooming out of my garden and kind of making like Victorian style, Baroque style piece. And so I was really inspired by something that we had spoken about, and able to, and I see a piece that was velvet and it was really structured. And so I found the gown and cut it into making the actual top. And then I added pieces into my skirt. And so flowers into my skirt as well. And Swayyvo that actually has a lot of greenery on it. Think about sustainability and conservation and kind of being inspired by the exhibit today. I sewed actual greenery into his garment and also used some patchwork in order to make his vest. So you'll see pieces of
Thank you, Christopher and Vee. And I wanted to also mention, because I realized as you were talking about this photo is of a tea plantation. And when we think about natural ways to make clothes, to dye, as I'm sure Vee's aware, tea has historically been used for that purpose. So looking to the earth, looking towards recycling, and looking towards ways that we can heal ourselves and our community through the use of nature and the care of nature is very much embodied in both of their work as well as the work on the wall. Now, as we move from the expansiveness, we're going to go a little bit more internal with our next piece. I think you all can see the squares, the industrial, the man-made, the things that might be polluting our environment. But you can also see the effort someone made to put plants here to make a space, to add oxygen, to add life. So I'm going to ask everyone to look at this for a moment, and then if you're able and willing to close your eyes. And as we take a deep breath in, we're going to breathe in as we think about the squares and the boxes that hold us in, that might not let us breathe fully. So breathe in. And now we're going to breathe out into the nature that we could be allowing to surround us. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out.
And no rush for you guys to open your eyes. You can listen if you like. But I would like to add into what Ms. Adira was speaking about those boxes and those structures that sometimes are put into our lives and sometimes we kind of put ourselves into. But the one thing that I've noticed on my journey of healing is that nature always prevails and nature always shows itself. And as you can see here in this particular piece, you have the lines, and I am grateful that someone decided to put these plants here. But what I realize is that even if these were not here, over time, nature will still come up from the gravel, still come up from the concrete, and that's just always a beautiful thought to me. And if we look here, you can also see that I wanted to focus on the greenery as a main thing. As the one that we looked at over there, more of the colors were about the reds. Here is about the greenery. You can kind of see that the background here is more simplistic. It's not very full of nature, but as you can move forward throughout the image, you see more of that greenery come up. And then you see the floral that is all through Vee's outfit. And it just showcases that there's a nature within you. There are roses and there are flowers within you. And if you allow yourself, all of these things can come out of you. Now, what I always like to tell myself is don't stay too boxed in. We can always, again, put ourselves in boxes, and that's okay. Sometimes you need that. But exist outside of those. Observe those. Never stay in them. Always hold them in your hands because you are the nature. You are the rose that's always rising from the concrete.
Now these two pieces are lush with greenery. This greenery may evoke emotion, it may evoke memory, and sometimes we get kind of lost when there's so much there. It's hard to see our way out. So rather than seeing your way out, I'm going to ask you to find your way in. Find one little branch, one little leaf, one little patch of sky, one little blade of grass. Doesn't matter which one, just stare at it. And as you're staring at it, picture in its fullness, in its individual importance, and expand in your mind what the world around it could be. It doesn't need to be the world in the picture. These artists created these pieces so that you could find your own memory and your own emotion and your own dreams. So I'm going to give you a moment to just do just that.
So with these pieces, the one thing I loved about them so much is, especially with this one here, if you look very closely, none of it is directly in focus. There's no direct thing that the artist is directly trying to get you to pinpoint on and expand from. It allows your mind to almost escape into this vast jungle that you can, again, I use this word a lot, immerse yourself in. And so what I wanted to do with these two pieces here is do a little bit of the opposite and focus more so on the fine details of the flower around her eye here, or the way the purples blend into the reds. And for a second, you don't have to share this until the end if you don't want to, but I want you to see if there is a color that you identify with, if it's the green, if it's the reds, if it's the purples. I believe that all of us at any given time, we identify with the color because color is very powerful. And just see if there's anything that really speaks to you and begin to observe the entire photograph, this one and that one there. There are a lot of purples and reds in that one as well. And begin to ask yourself, do you see yourself in any of this? That's the mission of this entire piece. I want you to be able to see yourself in all of these photos, not just be in her beautiful outfit. But so to connect these two pieces, it's almost as if you see these two jungles here and you see it from the outside, right? Very much like the first piece. If you zoom all the way in, this is the goddess, if you will, that runs the entire jungle. This is the reason why all of this is here. And again, I connect this back to you because we all have our inner jungle. We all control that inner jungle. We all can maintain that inner jungle. So whatever that jungle looks like, whatever chaos is going on in your mind or going on in your spirit, you can remember that you are able to tame all of that. It's under your control. Nothing outside of you can do that for you. And you shouldn't give that power to anyone or anything else.
I want you to look at it in terms of course, you all see the gold and the lines in the gold. If anyone's worked with gold leaf, you're aware of that. But then you see this vast array that looks like a world, but looks like something more. In this case, I'm going to start with the artist and then do the breathing exercise. So John Sabra does something remarkable. He extracts raw iron oxide from polluted rivers. So he takes the pollution, he takes the bricks that are underlaying this, and he makes it into something beautiful. He uses that to change the color of the paper, to change the flow of the work, to let us find light and hope and color in the golden spirit within us.
So with this piece here, I wanted to really focus on expansion and flow. I believe that whatever you focus on will expand. And with this piece, there's so much going on, right? There's so much to focus on. And if you focus long enough, let's say if you focus on the gold, then your brain will lock into that. That's the only thing that you will begin to see for a second. If you focus on the greens, the blues, the yellows, the oranges, the browns, you guys may even see colors in this piece that I didn't even notice. And the beautiful part about that as we transition over here is there are parts about ourselves that if we focus on will continue to expand. And that can be the good, the bad, the uncomfortable, the ugly, whatever the case may be. We all have those things, right? But what I challenge you to do is look within inside yourself, much like this image here, and go into a state of flow. As you can see, she's very serene. She's very comfortable. She's very confident in herself. And by focusing on herself and by focusing on that energy within her, you see it begins to expand out. And so if you consistently focus in on the energy that you want to manipulate, the energy that you want to expand, that's exactly what will happen. But if you focus on whatever it is that you don't want, because the universe is a fickle thing like that. If you continuously focus on the things that you don't like and the things that you don't want about yourself, well, what I've learned is the universal answer is always yes. So if it's something that you don't want, yes. If it's something that you do want, if you feel like, oh, I can't do that thing, yes. I don't think it's gonna be that difficult, yes. Oh, I don't think I have the time to get this thing done, yes. So ask yourself, what are you telling yourself no to? What are you denying yourself? Because the universe is always going to tell you yes. And so with everything that we've experienced this evening and all the different ways that we have immersed ourselves between nature and even in fashion and portraiture, again, the key here was I want you to see yourself in any of all of these pieces. Find yourself, find that inner spirit, find that part of yourself that you want to magnify. And if you've ever had those struggles of trying to find yourself or have those struggles of not knowing where to go to next, or I'm really confused about everything, understand that the boxes that we put ourselves in is just that, we put ourselves in. The details that we begin to overlook, they're always there. And the parts about ourselves that we want to expand, you have the power to lock in and expand those parts too.
Well, thank you for explaining. I think when I first saw them, the first thing that I noticed was they were good. And so it really was our body to be able to, because I kind of feel like I'm embodying the beauty. Like I'm embodying a garment beauty and feeding the land and embodying the flowers and blooming into the space. It kind of is transformative for me because I'm not normally in the forefront as far as this, like my face is everywhere. As large as it is, however, purpose has just me to be a part of this exhibit and us collaborating on this is rewarding, definitely, and to know that people are here to support me and also to support everyone who's here today. It's all important to me.
I just had a statement. I just wanted to compliment all of your artistry across the board. The music, the photos, but also like the feeling that you're emerging from your images, from your fashion. I identify with almost all of it. I don't know how I channel some of the colors within today, but I feel like I did, and I feel like it was alignment to be here at this time. So thank you guys. Thank you for your contribution. I look forward to whatever is to come, and I hope that you continue to include the community. And again, it's phenomenal work. Thank you. But okay, maybe I do have one question. So I guess I want to ask, what was the inspiration beyond the colors? You know, what was it that had you choose these particular collaboration of colors, and is it just, was it the inspiration of her beautiful hair, or was it, a favorite color of your own, or a feeling of love, or nature? How do y'all want to tap into that?
So actually, it was my hair. Started off, and then it came into the conservationist and sustainability work that we're doing today. So it kind of was. It started off as when I first got my locks. I told Chris that I wanted to do a poison ivy style shoot. And so I was interested in just like embodying her, and because my hair is so dominant, I wanted to have this offset of the greenhouse background, and so we curated that in the space of Bohemian Village. So thank you, Bohemian Village, for hosting me in space. And it kind of evolved from there, from talking to Chris and Chris talking to Derek, and it kind of just transformed into all what you're seeing today.
Well, first of all, thank you for what you said. Thank everyone for being here. As far as inspiration, it did start out with a collaborative effort of her initially having the idea, and I'm totally on board with it. I've always wanted to shoot like a nature shoot. I'm all about that. But you used a very good word, alignment. And we had talked about this shoot maybe a month or two before Adira came and gave us the idea to even be a part of this. And I was like, oh, I got the perfect idea of what we can do. And initially, like day of the shoot, getting there, because I had never been to the location, so I didn't know what plants were gonna be there. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what she was gonna wear. I'm just like, I trust you, and God gonna do everything else. So I get there and I see her hair, and I'm immediately inspired, right? And I'm seeing the way she set up all the plants. By the way, the way the plants are and everything, that's all her. She did everything as far as how everything looks. I just clicked the button, turned the lights on, basically. And when I seen what she was wearing, I knew at that moment, I knew the story that I wanted to tell. And so I knew the colors that I wanted to add. I wanted to add the yellows to showcase, like, I'm big on chocolate, so a lot of these colors are inspired on that. So I knew I wanted to have that golden light showcase. I knew I wanted to have, obviously gonna be greenery, but I knew I wanted to have purples pop out of her hair. It's a little bit of a contrast, but a little bit of a harmony as well. So a lot of it really was on the fly inspiration after the initial collaboration was laid on the table, which in my opinion, that's kind of how most good things kind of happen, right? So.
Actually, let me add something. That's okay.
And is Swayyvo just freestyling? Was that
Because when someone comes to me with a good idea, I'm like, and Swayyvo, and that's the answer. Yeah, and I was also going to say a little bit about even reaching out to Christopher, because we worked together before, and about maybe 10 months ago or so, Christopher brought me the most beautiful gift of a photograph that he made. And it was a photograph of the hunter from a viewpoint that physically is inaccessible to me, once was, and I can't get down there anymore. So it meant the world to me, and anyone who's been in my office has seen it, so thank you for that. And I was thinking about how Christopher manages to capture the details and to understand nature in this really just basic core way, and knowing that this exhibit was going to be heavy and that we're very aware of what's happening in our planet, and not knowing where our world would be in February, but also knowing that we were close to Valentine's Day, not knowing Vee was going to be sporting red locks, which is just perfect, but just trusting in completely Christopher, when he mentioned bringing in Vee, I was delighted to have the chance to work with her, and of course Swayyvo. Knowing that this would come together, kind of like Christopher was saying, at the right time when we needed it most, and to be able to showcase the healing power of all of these things about how we present ourselves, how we feel at peace with ourselves, and how we find potential and possibility in the world around us. This was just what we all needed and just right. So thank you for Christopher, Vee, and Swayyvo for making it happen.